RW Wrestling Podcast, Old Guy is here, and I got a fun one for you today. This random ass daily match review, I have to be honest, is not random. Chris chose this one because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and we have Mankind versus The Rock, which takes place under WWF at Halftime Heat, which airs during the halftime of the Super Bowl in 1999. This aired on January 31st, 1999 at the in Tucson, Arizona, at the Tucson Convention Center. And this is an empty arena match for the WWF Championship, the first ever in WWF, but it's not the first one ever. And I'm going to talk about some of the other notable empty arena matches in wrestling history in the aftermath. So Halftime Heat has occurred 3 times. The first one was this one, which I'm going to talk about. The other ones were Halftime Heat also occurred in 2000 at the halftime of Super Bowl 34 on January 30th, 2000 in Stamford, Connecticut, at Titan Towers. And the main event, quote unquote, was an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin and how he's doing with his neck surgery. The third one happened in 2019 at the halftime of Super Bowl 53. On February 3rd, 2019, in Orlando, Florida, at the WWE Performance Center. And we had a 6-man tag match, which featured Aleister Black, Ricochet, Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Adam Cole, baby. So the story of this match was the WWF title was vacated by Mr. McMahon, and he decided to put together a tournament at the Survivor Series in 1998. And Mankind was supposedly the front runner because he was Vince McMahon's boy. But at the end, Vince chose Rock and screwed Mankind. The two of them met in the finals, and they pulled like another Montreal Screwjob kind of finish. Rock had Mankind in a sharpshooter, and McMahon said ring the bell. So Rock became the corporate champion. Mankind would get his revenge on Vince and The Rock by winning the WWF title on that infamous / awesome Monday Night Raw in late December, where Mankind would win his first WWF Championship with the help from DX and Austin. And then The Rock would get the title back from Mankind in an I Quit match at the following Royal Rumble, in which Mankind never said I quit. The Rock used an audio recording of Mankind saying I quit from a previous promo and played it over had it played over the speaker system. And Mankind called him out and also stole $100,000 of Rock's money to coerce The Rock to participate in the first ever WWE empty arena match. So the first thing we see is Michael Cole saying, "In a few moments, this arena will be emptied of everyone," and he's standing in an empty arena. I know what he's trying to say, but it just sounds really dumb when there's nobody in the arena. I know what he's trying to say. It's just a weird way to word it. I'm not sure. So then we see Mankind arriving at the arena, having gotten a ride from some random person, and the fans that showed up outside the arena give him a warm reception, and he acknowledges them, pulls his fist up, says, "Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to win," and he walks inside. Both Vince McMahon and The Rock arrive in a limo, and both of them receive the typical negative reaction that you would expect, and then they both just walk inside. All right, so Halftime Heat, the actual part of Halftime Heat occurs during Sunday Night Heat, and right when halftime starts, they go right to the USA Network they go right to the empty Tucson Arena from the Sunday Night Heat Arena, which actually airs live matches. So we actually back in the other arena with fans and matches, Shane McMahon and Kevin Kelly are ringside, and they're Shane McMahon shows his favoritism towards The Rock and Vince McMahon, while Kelly is playing things down the middle. They pan it over to the Tucson Convention Center, where we see Mankind already in the ring. And I learned let's see what else we got here. Vince McMahon comes down with The Rock. Vince McMahon is the guest commentator, and he grabs the headphones and he talks a little bit how the Rock shouldn't be taking part in this matchup because he was coerced by Mick Foley and the money that Mick Foley stole. And so We see The Rock is climbing the steps, so Mankind is ready. The Rock is ready. And hold up. I know y'all were ready for me to say the crowd is ready, didn't you? Didn't you? Come on, be honest. Be honest. Well, the lack of a crowd is ready. The ref says ring the bell, and here we go. So as we go throughout the match, I'll be taking note of whatever these two men say to the best of my ability. Sometimes it's covered up by Vince McMahon, or they're just mumbling, or they're away from the camera. So they circle each other as they get in the ring, and The Rock says, "You want to go one-on-one with the Great One?" While Mankind says, "What you got, Rock? What you got?" Mankind leans into The Rock and says, "I'll give you the first shot," and The Rock proceeds to hit Mankind right in the face. They trade punches until Mankind blocks one and takes control of The Rock. Mankind whips Rock off the ropes and hits Rock with a back elbow while calling Rock a bastard. Mankind gets a 1 count for that. Mankind hits Rock with a double arm DDT, and Rock kicks out at 2. Mankind pulls out Mr. Sacco and locks in the mandible claw, but The Rock escapes by falling through the ropes into the floor. Mankind hits Rock with a baseball slide to the outside. Mankind hits Rock with a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. Vince McMahon keeps reiterating that The Rock should have to defend his title in this fashion. He should have it in the ring and the typical one-on-one matchup. But again, he keeps saying that Mick Foley coerced him. Rock was forced to do this. Well, Vince McMahon, you're the owner of the company. I mean, what are you going to do about it? Obviously nothing. So shut up. Mankind drops Rock's head on the ring bell. Mankind then slams Rock head first on the commentator's table. Vince McMahon starts to get irritated by it. He's like, "Come on, Mankind, keep it in the ring, keep it in the ring." Like, yeah, right. Like that's going to happen. Mankind to Rock, "This piece of trash is kicking your ass." Mankind punches Rock in the face twice. Vince McMahon says, "What kind of championship match is this?" It's the one that The Rock was forced into. Mankind throws Rock into the ring steps and tells Vince McMahon, "After I beat this guy, you're next." More punches to Rock's head. Mankind attempted to throw Rock into the barricade, but The Rock reverses and throws Mankind through the barricade. Rock says to Mankind as he walks up to him, "You can go straight to hell," then kicks him 3 times while saying, "You're going one-on-one with the Great One." The Rock goes to pin the Mankind and says, "I'm going to cover his candy ass," and gets a 1 count. Rock throws Mankind 4 rows up the ringside seats. Vince McMahon says Vince McMahon says, "Have a seat, Mankind." Rock buries Mankind under a bunch of ringside seats while saying, "The Great One, this is the Great One you are going one-on-one with." Rock grabs a steel chair and says, "Tell you what, Mankind, just for good measure, this is one time for the good times," as The Rock hits the buried Mankind with the steel chair 3 times. Rock gets on the headset and says, "Finally, halftime heat, Super Bowl, The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. If you smell what The Rock is cooking." But at this point, Mankind has unburied himself and advances on The Rock. McMahon tells Rock to look out, but The Rock isn't paying attention and gets the mandible claw from Mankind. Mankind says, "I'm taking you out, Rock. You're going down, Rock." Rock escapes the mandible claw with a low blow to Mankind. Both men sell to some steps that lead up through the arena. Rock starts walking up the stairs, and Mankind catches up to The Rock and hits Rock in the back with a couple forearms. Mankind slams Rock's head into the steps and follows up with a punch. Rock responds with a strike to Mankind and continues walking up the steps. Mankind screams, "Get back here, Rock!" Rock catches Mankind with another punch that drops Mankind and continues up the steps. Mankind follows. Rock gets to the top of the stairs and ducks behind a wall and grabs a trash can, saying, "Come on, bring your candy ass up here. Come on, hurry up, Mankind, hurry up, big piece of trash. Get up here, your candy ass." Mankind eventually gets to the top of the steps, and wham! Rock nails Mankind with a trash can. Rock hits Mankind with the trash can 2 more times, and Mankind drops to the ground. Rock kicks Mankind twice, with the second one sending Mick Foley rolling down the steps. Rock says, I'm about to make your candy ass famous," as he walks down the steps. Rock to Mankind, you look like 10 pounds of monkey crap in a 5-pound bag." Again, Rock to Mankind, "I'm sure you will feel right at home with some trash dumped on your monkey ass." And then The Rock dumps out the trash from the trash can on Mankind, and then hits Mankind with the trash can. Mankind gets kicked down some steps leading to somewhere. And then we go, and then the video feed goes back to Sunday Night Heat, where we talk to Shane and Kelly. And Shane is obviously hyped up that The Rock is doing well, and Kelly's just giving us a brief recap of what's happened so far. We get back to halftime heat and see a cameraman running into the kitchen where Mankind and Rock are fighting next to some cotton candy. We see Rock break a long stick, must have been like 8 feet wide or 8 feet long, over Mankind's back. More like a pole, not a stick. Rock throws Mankind into a stack of cotton candy. Rock to Mankind, $5 for cotton candy, but you probably wouldn't pay for it, you cheap piece of crap. Rock picks up this large pole that cotton candy is stored on and hits Mankind in the head with it. Rock slams Mankind's head into a freezer. Rock says, "Oh, look at Mr. Sacco. Oh, Mr. Sacco, The Rock's ass." And then he picks up, and he takes Mr. Sacco. The Rock takes Mr. Sacco over to the oven and says, "Oh no, Rock, don't throw Mr. Sacco into the oven." And then The Rock throws Mr. Sacco into the oven. Rock then puts Mankind's face on the oven, trying to burn him, while saying, "Do you really want to smell what The Rock is cooking?" And then he burns him burns Mankind on the oven. Rock throws Mankind over a prep table, and then hits him with a sheet pan, and then punches Mankind onto a chef's table. And then while on the chef's table, Rock hits Mankind with another elbow. Rock says, "Referee, know your role, get down here and count to 3. Mankind kicks out at 2. Rock punches Mankind into a stack of plates. Rock says, "Stop making a mess," as the plates all fall to the ground and break. Rock grabs some Jack Daniels and sings, "Jack Daniels, if you please, knock him to his knees." And as soon as The Rock takes a swig, Mankind punches Rock, and Rock spits out the Jack Daniels. Mankind continues to punch Rock. Mankind throws Rock onto another stack of plates, breaking them all. Mankind grabs the absolute biggest bag of popcorn you'll ever see and hits Rock in the head 4 times. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty fucking big. I gotta say, it's probably like a 10-pound bag of popcorn. And even though it's popcorn, you get hit square in the head with that, it's probably not gonna tickle. All right, and the popcorn is now everywhere. Mankind says bye-bye, Rock, and throws Rock through an exit door. And as Mankind walks through the exit door, The Rock hits Mankind with the door. The two men make their way to catering, where a bunch of people in the crew are eating dinner. Rock to Mankind, with look at all this mess you made, referring to the popcorn that's all over the place. So Rock tastes the popcorn and kicks Mankind because the popcorn was too salty. Rock hits Mankind with a rubber trash can. Rock says, "How about some utensils? I know your fat ass likes to eat." And then Rock throws some plastic cutlery at Mankind. They make their way down the buffet table, having a fun little food fight. Rock throws some salsa at Mankind's face, and Mankind sells it like he got burned. He's saying, "It burns my eyes! It burns my eyes!" The Rock tastes the salsa and gets mad because the salsa is mild, and it kicks Mankind in the face. "It's mild!" It's so funny. Mankind slams Rock's head into a table a couple times, then attempts a pile driver to Rock on the floor, but Rock backdrops Mankind over the table instead. Mankind is a mess at this point. I mean, he's got like salsa all over him. He's got he's lost a boot, and he's got other food products all over his shirt and his face. Rock throws Mankind onto another buffet table, and then The Rock picks up some kind of fruit and says, "How about some of this?" What? The Rock doesn't even know what this is, and then slams the fruit down on Mankind's head. Rock is the best. Mankind fights back with a low blow to The Rock, and he gets a 2 count. They continue to sell along the buffet table. The Rock grabs a huge serving bowl filled with looks like yogurt and ice and water, and then hits Mankind in the head with it, and then follows up with a forearm to Mankind's back. The Rock says, "Hey Chico, throw The Rock a soda," and a Spanish server proceeds to throw a soda to The Rock. Rock takes a drink and then pours the rest of the soda onto Mankind's head. Rock takes Mankind through another set of doors, which leads to the office area. The Rock continues to whoop Mankind's ass all through this office, and he's like punching and kicking The Rock. Oh, I'm sorry. The Rock is continuing to punch and kick Mankind. Excuse me. While he's kicking Mankind's ass, Rock picks up a phone that rings and says, "Yeah, SmackDown Hotel. No, Mankind is unavailable to talk because he's got The Rock's foot up his mouth, and then The Rock proceeds to kick Mankind right in the mouth. Proceeded with a punch to Mankind's face. Once again, the phone rings and The Rock answers it. SmackDown Hotel, corner of Know Your Role Boulevard and Jabroni Drive. No, Mankind can't talk. He's a little tied up right now. And then The Rock proceeds to choke Mankind with the phone cord. The Rock to Mankind. AT&T, MCI, whichever plan you want. And The Rock throws the phone at Mankind's head. The Rock to a female office worker. Look at you, honey. What you looking at? You don't want any of the most electrifying man in all sports and entertainment today? Oh, you really don't, do you? Well, you're a piece of white trash anyway. Get to stepping. The woman runs away as Mankind attacks The Rock from behind. Mankind throws Rock against the wall. Mankind punches Rock a couple times. Mankind leads Rock down the hall and slams Rock's head into a door. Mankind kicks Rock in the head while saying, "No, no, no, Rock. I'm not through with you yet, Rock." We go back to the video feed goes back to Shane and Kelly back on Sunday Night Heat, and you can see Shane looks visibly worried because The Rock is getting his ass whipped right now, while Kelly is actually looking excited that Mankind is mounting a comeback. So both men have we go back to halftime heat, and both men have now worked their way to a loading dock. Both men just trade punches. Both hit strikes at the same time, and both hit the floor or ground, I should say. Mankind has pulled out another Mr. Sacco and is now stalking The Rock. Mankind applies the mandible claw to Rock, but the Rock sells it for a good 30 seconds, and then finally is down on the ground. Mankind places Rock right in front of a forklift. Mankind says, "You're gonna love this" to The Rock, and then climbs aboard the forklift. Mankind lowers the pallet the forklift was carrying. He lowers that down on The Rock, and at 17 minutes 18 seconds, 17 minutes 18 seconds of empty arena goodness, Mankind gets the 1, the 2, and the 3, and Mankind has regained the WWF Championship. And as Mankind is celebrating, you hear The Rock say, "You cheating bastard! That's The Rock's belt." And Mankind says, "Yo, Adrian, I did it again," as we cut the black. All right, so I'm always interested in how to grade matches like this because it wasn't really a match per se. It was just like a clutter fest, I guess you could say. It was like they moved from place to place and weapons here, weapons there, and they just led a straight path from the ring all the way to a loading dock. And there was maybe two legitimate moves that were moved or used. So it's kind of hard to grade this one, but on pure entertainment, obviously it's a 10 out of 10 because anything between The Rock and Mick Foley at this point was absolute gold. And of course, The Rock is The Rock. Yeah, I gave it a 10. They beat the crap out of each other. I know Mankind took more bumps than The Rock did. He fell down the stairs and he got thrown through arena seats and burned himself once. I'm sure he jumped over tables, jumped through tables, all kinds of stuff. And this was just good fun. I can't rate it as a legit match, like I said, but as far as entertainment is concerned, it's a 10 out of 10. I suggest anybody watch this just for the sake of entertainment. And also, it is a continuation of a good story between the two of them. And this whole story between Mankind and Rock is just a vehicle to get Rock to WrestleMania against Austin. But this little part of The Rock's title run and Mankind being the challenger was so much fun. It's one of the better feuds WWE had in the Attitude Era was The Rock and Mankind, and I suggest anybody go watch this. Enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. It's not like what I will say this though. This match is different from a comedy match, where a comedy match is a means to. There's not really a means to an end. It's just there just to make people laugh and have a lit up match. This is a legit match. It's for a title. And it has a storyline attached to it. So it's different from a comedy match. So, like I said, there's funny parts and there's the serious parts. So, just in case anybody had any questions about that. But by all means, comment your opinions on it in the comments. I have no problems having discussions. So, now we're going to move to the aftermath, where I'm going to talk about some of the more notable empty arena matches in the history of wrestling. And I had to go do some research for this. So if there's anyone, if anybody knows of one that's happened more recently, Let me know in the comments. I definitely would like to learn about this. Okay, so the first empty arena match of record happened in 1981 between the NWA champion at the time, Terry Funk, and Jerry the King Lawler. This happened in Memphis, and the story was that Lawler and Jimmy Hart had a falling out, so Jimmy Hart put a bounty on Lawler's head, and Terry Funk answered the bounty, answered the challenge for the bounty, and they had a match on Memphis Wrestling. I think that was called their regular TV show at the time, and Lawler won by countout. But a few weeks later, Terry Funk comes back to Memphis and challenges Lawler to a match with no fans, no police, no referee, and no pay. Funk basically won an unsanctioned match against Lawler, just have a fight to settle things, and the winner would be called the better man. It didn't last very long, from what I read. They just went out in the seats a little bit, got back in the ring, and so Funk had a sharp object, like a piece of glass, and was about to use it on Lawler's eye, but Lawler was able to kick Funk's arm, and the piece of glass fell into Funk's face, and Funk gave up. Another one was Sting versus Kurt Angle. I didn't get the year. I want to say it's 2007, but maybe 2009. Whenever the Main Event Mafia was together. I'm not really sure. I forgot to write it down. So Sting and Angle were coming to blows, or came to blows during a match sometime, and this resulted in an empty arena match on an episode of Impact. So they just brawled around the ringside area for a little bit, with Angle eventually taking an 8-foot drop. But Sting wasn't able. Well, Sting could have done something, but Nash and Scott Steiner came out to break it up, so nothing got really resolved. And the next one is the Motor City Machine Guns versus Generation Me, who are Jeremy. The Motor City Machine Guns are Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, and Generation Me is Jeremy Buck and Max Buck, and you would know them as Nick and Matt Jackson as the Young Bucks nowadays. This took place on TNA's secondary show, if you ever knew there was one, called Reaction. And the show Reaction had like little backstage clips of a little intimate, more behind-the-scenes kind of thing, where they had talked to wrestlers backstage. And a fight broke out between Generation Me and the Motor City Machine Guns. So it had like kind of a home movie kind of feel to it. It was there wasn't really much production. It was just them out there with a camera. And they did their typical double team moves, where guys would do double team moves over barricades and on the tables and all that. So the match ended with Jeremy Buck being put through a table via, I think it was oh good lord, it was in a cutter position, or like a rude awakening position. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I forget it was Sabin or whether it was Shelley, I forget which. Either way, one of the machine guns had Jeremy Buck in the rude awakening position, like a neck breaker, and then the other machine gun dove over the top rope. And since they're all on the table, Jeremy gets put through the table via some kind of like crossbody or something like that. And then in the ring, Max Buck gets tied up via, I don't know what the material was. I don't know if it was a twist tie or not, but either way, he got tied to a turnbuckle, and they got taunted by the machine guns. The machine guns were saying, so you think you're better than us, huh? You think you deserve what we got, and all that kind of stuff, and don't forget who brought you here and all that kind of stuff. And they're kicking Max Buck in the face with super kicks the whole time. Eventually, Max Buck says, that's all you got? That's all you got? And then spits in their face. And then they respond with a double super kick, and Max Buck just falls to the ground. He's out. He's done. And then that video ends with the machine guns just kind of like in the ring, and then the match ends. You don't see a pinfall or anything. So that's kind of confusing. But the most weird empty arena matches were the NWO Saturday Night matches. I didn't even know these existed. Okay, so back in '96, the NWO won a War Games match against WCW. And they were awarded a series of segments called awarded a series of segments on WCW Saturday Night. So there were squash matches. They took place against jobbers. They had NWO members provide commentary, and they had audience member reactions coming in to break the silence every once in a while. I didn't watch them. It's jobbers. I don't care. But there was 8 of them or 9 of them, and it took place between October and November. So we had the Outsiders versus Starbuck Twins, whoever the fuck they are, right? We had Six versus Johnny Acabella. Outsiders versus Tony Washberg and Bud Green. The Giant versus Pat Tanaka. The Outsiders versus Brian Costello and Jack Shaw. Outsiders versus Pez Watley and Big Buck Brenzer, I think. Buff Bagwell versus Pez Watley. The Giant versus KC Sunshine. And the Outsiders versus Alan Storm. Yeah, it's top-notch talent there, guys. Top-notch opponent, competition. The only guy I've heard of is Pez Watley, and he's like a jabroni. Anyway, so I'm going to cut this off here, and I hope you all enjoyed this one because I certainly enjoyed going back and watching this and reviewing it and talking about it. And by all means, comments, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I'm coming at you again tomorrow. See you later.